All right, so I am 17 hours into fasting, but I feel very lightweight, and this time I actually feel like I could go on forever like this. And so I'm trying just in case I really do continue to feel that way, I've been thinking about saying goodbye to everybody and everything that means something to me, especially my YouTube audience. To give you an idea of why I think this might be goodbye, so this is a house in Mercer Island that I just moved into, and I finally feel at home. I got good chemistry with the landlord and with the roommates that I'm living with in here. More importantly, I don't feel the big city environment, and I get accepted for who I am here on the island. It feels like once I cross the bridge, oh my God, all the judgment, the prejudice, and all that comes right back, right? It's amazing how in just 1 mile, the different worlds, right? And finally I can work in person again. I was living in Missoula where I fit in, but I didn't have the in-person work, and so now I have the best of both worlds. And this morning, as I was thinking about what am I going to eat today, I realized I don't want to spoil the environment of being in a fasted state and feeling so lightweight and all that. And it dawned on me that I could just do this forever, and it could be goodbye. If I wanted to say goodbye to the world, Mercer Island would be the perfect place for that, right? Well, not the number one place I would do it, but having a good work life and a good home life, right? Other places I only have one or the other, right? And so it inspired me to start saying goodbye to some people and things in my life. Now, the only thing that would the only thing is I don't want to leave a headache for my landlord. So when the time gets shorter, I'll probably go somewhere else to make the final goodbyes. But for the time being, I'm going to enjoy having a good home life and a good work life, if this were to be the grand finale. I mean, there were other times when I thought it was the grand finale, but I thought otherwise. But this time, I really feel lightweight. And don't get me wrong, I'm not suicidal or anything. I just want to finally enjoy it, and I don't want to spoil the environment by eating something, because every time I eat, I get heavy-hearted. I argue with people. Go watch my videos from yesterday to see just what could happen when I eat. And I don't want to spoil that environment here. And plus, when I'm fasting, it creates a little bit of a vacuum for me to just hoover in all the nice things in life, right? Having good relations with my landlord, learning a new card game, right? This is Dragon Ball Dragon Ball Super that I recently learned how to play. Um, anyway, I don't want to spoil that environment, right? Uh, Yesterday, as I moved in, well, I was only 4 hours into that fast when I moved in, and my my landlord, he all of a sudden decided that he wanted to increase the deposit, even though we had talked about this. And I very firmly said, this is exactly why I chose this place, because I'm in a bit of a transition, and he quickly backed off of that. See, when I'm fasting, I don't get angry or argumentative with that. I get rational with it, right? And that's what I meant by not wanting to spoil the environment by breaking the fast. It's tough after 12 out 16 hours of having a home that I feel comfortable in, and having this lightweight. I just don't want to spoil that. At the same time, I recognize that as far as we know, humans cannot live without food. And so, don't get me wrong, I'm not suicidal or anything. I just love that environment so much that maybe a month or two of that is better than 80 or 90 years of being heavy hearted and argumentative and all that, right? Um, anyway, anybody, it looks like we have one guest here. If there's anything you want to talk about, Don't get me wrong, I'm not suicidal or anything. I just cannot imagine spoiling the environment after all this by eating something. Now that I have a good home life and a good work life, um, and now I got to say goodbye to everybody. It's just such an awkward situation uh, to finally have peace of it and then have to say goodbye. Right? Life throws weird conundrums at us. Right? There's something you guys want to talk about. Um, I would hope that I meet somebody who can continue my computer game writing after I'm gone, right? Assuming that not eating will actually end my life. I'm not so certain though. I like to believe there is a way we can keep living without food. I really do, and I've been looking for it. I've been researching it to no avail. But I don't want to eat anything after I moved into here because of how lightweight I felt and how I could deal with the landlord. I don't know why he decided to spring that he wanted the deposit after what we had talked about, but oh well. Oh well, he probably ran into some pressure elsewhere. He quickly backed off of it. And that's what I meant by being lightweight with fasting. I was rational with him. I didn't get argumentative with him, and told him that I thought we talked about this, and you got to see my references and all that. And unfortunately, if I had just eaten, I probably wouldn't have handled it that way. And let's see if we can get some beautiful views of. I'd love to find out how I can connect my camera to the live stream, because I could get better resolution that way. First off, I need to find the cable for that. You drink shakes? Is it no? As soon as I have any sort of calories, those benefits don't seem to work anymore. I tried it with coconut water. I think it's a blood sugar issue. So the closest I have ever gotten to eating something and still feeling like a fasted state is to stick with fats, right? So stick with coconut meat and baking chocolate. I'm doing the once a day. Yeah, once a day is not bad. But that's what I tried yesterday, and unfortunately, that's right after I eat, I get very heavy-hearted, and you got a little bit of Murphy's Law, right? The bad events always happen just after you eat, right? Let me see if I can get my camera so we can get a better. See, if anybody knows how to connect your camera to use as your webcam, please leave a comment, because I've been wanting to do that. And okay, I will see if I can find some information on how to use my camera for my live. Yeah, unfortunately, I wish my family was more supportive of my intermittent fasting. I was talking to my mom a couple days ago, and I told my mom that, if only we could stop eating. And my mom got very angry. She doesn't want to entertain the idea that it is possible to stop eating. I don't want to dismiss. Science is always evolving, right? There was a time when we had to do a lot of things that we no longer have to do today, right? And I like to believe there was a time when life expectancy was only 25, right? Which is why the lockdowns are, in my opinion, completely backward, right? We're shutting down the economy that is allowing people to live past 25 so that people don't die in their 70s and 80s, right? If you stop to think about it, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Anyway, so my mom is not very supportive of my intermittent fasting. I was just talking hypotheticals, right? Is there a way that humans can ever stop eating? And she just gets angry and we can't talk about it. But I feel so good when I'm fasting, and unfortunately, every time I eat, right after I eat is when I run into situations where I get heavy-hearted and argue with people. That's just Murphy's Law. Actually, to be honest, I probably run into a lot of those situations while fasted too. I just handle them very well. It just goes to show that life happens 24/7, right? You can't really set aside a time when you can check out and not have to worry about being your best, right? That's kind of unfortunate. Unfortunately, I don't know how to use my camera as a webcam. Menu. So this is it was common to eat not to eat for days, hundreds. Yes, of course, right? Fasting is definitely, we've evolved to do fasting, right? Which is probably why it feels so good, right? The other thing I noticed about fasting is that it really improves my sex drive, right? So, which is really funny because a lot of times when I'm dating somebody, a lot of people don't seem to accept the idea that I'm fasting. And sometimes my partner doesn't accept that it's for her benefit. And it's kind of, when you stop to think about it, right? A lot of social ideas about eating don't make a whole lot of sense, right? So you think about how here in 2021, people get very defensive about being required to take this one pharmaceutical product. They think it's an invasion of their privacy to have to show this card that they've taken this pharmaceutical drug. But apparently it's not so much an invasion of privacy if you ask people about their dietary preferences or you dig into why they're fasting, right? It should be, hey, do you want to try some food that I make? No, that should be the end of the story, right? If you dig further, that would be an invasion of privacy. For food, we don't seem to have that construct, but for medicine, for this one pharmaceutical drug that they're pushing here in 2021, we seem to understand that perfectly. Right? I don't understand why. If you stop to think about it, when we talk about sexual orientation, right? What about dietary orientation, right? See, the way I like to think of food, it's almost like an extension of either medicine or bodily choice, right? Why does food not get all the treatment that we treat sex and other medicines that we take? Or food is actually just another kind of medicine, right? But I don't understand. I personally don't. If you go, don't matter. Yeah, exactly, right? Can you imagine? Let's say your friend is a doctor, and you go to his house, and he answers the door with a needle to inject you, and he asks for your have you gotten the injection yet? Show me your card, or else I'm going to inject you. That would never fly, right? But for some reason, if it's something that we take by mouth, right, it's a completely different story. I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense at all. But that's the social environment we live in for some reason. Anyway, what should I discuss about this tonight? Let's see. Some games that I recently learned to play, maybe. So this is a very appropriate. Oops. So here's a very appropriate game given the situation. And I'm in Valley of the Kings, the Afterlife, right? So in this game, you got a deck of 96 artifacts that you want to take into your afterlife, right? For me, I'll let you guys think about what you would want to. It's me. I design memorials, so it's been a doozy. I'm sorry to hear. Although I heard that a lot of people are being marked down as dying of COVID when it's only tangentially related to COVID, right? So for example, if I were to go to heaven after this fast, I wouldn't be surprised if they labeled my death as a COVID related death, right? Because COVID has what's been allowing me to do a lot of these intermittent fasts. The COVID lockdown has been the big driver of some of these intermittent fasts, right? And oh my God, somebody's going to impersonate me again. Oh well, I'm going to learn to live with that. But because COVID had the COVID lockdown has been a big driver of my fasting, and it ended up being the reason I go to heaven, I wouldn't be surprised if I get marked down as a COVID-related fatality. Yeah, they get money from the feds. Actually, I recently, after I moved into this place, I got a call from a rental assistance program that I had applied for many months ago when I was out of work. I don't need it now. But the people with the rental assistance program who called me this morning, they advised me to stop paying my rent so that I can qualify for this rental assistance. I don't want to damage the relationship with my landlord. And it just goes to show the wackiness of all this federal money, right? So in exchange for this garbage program, people have to lose their social standing in life. That doesn't make any sense to me. Our biggest wealth is our social connectivity with others, right? Doesn't make any sense to me at all. I feel sorry for people who have to go through that. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if I get marked down as a COVID-related fatality, and I wouldn't mind either. Right, as long as people don't think I was suicidal, right? So that's good too. So what are your thoughts for your memorial for me after I go to heaven after this fast? Oh my God, somebody's going to impersonate me again. But I've been creating memorials for 12 to 14-year-olds. Yeah, so let me ask you a question. If somebody were to fast themselves to death, would you consider that a suicide, or would you consider that more of a spiritual practice? I'm just wondering, would that be marked down as a... Well, I'm not going to eat anymore, so would you ever go back to Wendy's for a date? I don't think so, because I don't even like to eat when I go on a date anymore. And it looks like I don't want to eat anymore. I'll miss your big silver bar. Well, I'm sure somebody will inherit it. And when I get closer to the end date, I'll have to think about who I'll leave my stuff to. But I am anti-Single Lives Matter, by the way. Sorry, not sorry. That's all right. We got people who go either way, right? What do you think about SHIBU? I haven't heard of that term before. Now, Oh, Brandon. Are you one of those Let's Go Brandon people? By the way, I love that phrase. Okay, so let's play a game of Valley of the Kings to see. So this is Hans and Jekyll game. Put a card in play into your hand. A bracelet. Discard 3 cards. Take a card from the base of the pyramid. You're lucky I don't call the cops that you love to pee outside in public, and you also pleasure while at work. Well, the pleasuring at work I do in the bathroom. So I don't think I'm violating any sort of law. Maybe a company policy, maybe. I'm not sure. But peeing outside, I think here in Seattle, it's not technically illegal to pee. It's just illegal to flash yourself. And I'm very careful about making sure nobody can see me. So Go ahead and call the cops, I guess. Oh. All right. Oh my God, somebody is going to impersonate me again. I've been very busy investing in silver, mostly coins I found at coin shows. Well, what coin show are you going to? Because most of them now require you to show proof of taking this drug, so I haven't been able to go. Anyway, I feel like I'm taking a vacation to heaven. I really do. It's not like I hate my life or anything. It's just I finally have a good settling place. And although when the time gets shorter, I'll probably want to leave the place because I don't want to I don't want to leave my landlord with a big mess on his hands. What do you say here? I've also cornered a new market with e-bagging spare change. Yeah, I was just having a good time with. Oh, the sun is out. See, this is why I don't want to eat. I'm enjoying the sunshine and all that. I just don't want to spoil the environment by putting something into my body. Yeah. Oh man. I'm gonna have to think hard about. I wish I could stop eating and not die. Don't get me wrong. I really do. It's a soul sexual. Yeah, I do pleasure myself at work. I wish it was more acceptable, though, because let's face it, people do their best when they feel good, right? I don't get why it has to be so taboo. I personally wouldn't even mind it if somebody had sex with a partner at work, right? People do their best work when they're happy, right? Oh, all right. Let's go. I'm checking my Facebook feed. Somebody, let's see if it's something to do with my fasting. No, nothing. All right. Wow. Hey, so that memorial guy, have you dealt with anybody who has fasted themselves to heaven? I'm just curious because I can't imagine me being the first person to think about that. I just feel so good when I'm fasting. No, you haven't. Wow. Because I just feel so good and lightweight when I'm fasting, and I feel so angry, defensive, and judgmental, and I when after I eat, and yeah, I'm trying to fast. I have 335 pounds. The hard part is getting 2 weeks, and then they get you and put you in the hospital. Yeah, well, at least I'll enjoy that couple of months before I get into the hospital, right? I want to make sure I do leave the place before something drastic happens. I don't want my landlord to deal with the fallout of having a dead body in his home, but at the same time, I don't want to be out there where somebody's going to force me to go into a hospital either. I'll have to think about when the time gets short, right? There's a lot of things I have to do, getting my will set up, making sure I go in a convenient place, right? Right. I still take water and electrolytes and, well, caffeine actually, because it helps me get past that. Hospitals remind me of the, oh my God, somebody's impersonating me. 2 recent occasions I have pooped. Oh yeah, speaking of hospitals remind me of the 2 recent occasions I pooped my pants. Yeah, speaking of pooping, one of the big challenges of fasting for me is that I stop pooping. I really love pooping. And every time I've gone on a 24, 48-hour fast and I stop pooping so much, it's one of the big things I miss for some reason. You need to do a will that says no. Oh yeah. The feeding. Yeah. Uh, oh well. If I fast and I pass out and I get fed and I come back, at least I'll get it. I'll have the luxury of going on another fast, right? So whatever it is, right? Why is someone impersonating you? Good question. Who knows? Yeah. So last time when I was going on the Jewish fast, somebody called me and we talked, and I thought they were nice to me, and then they used that information to impersonate me. So apparently, I got to be careful about taking phone calls now. So I can't wait to finally fade away, and then because finally I have somewhere I love living, and I get to work in person. And tomorrow, when I'm 30 some hours into fasting, and I have a really good day at work, I've learned that the workday seems to go a whole lot faster when I'm fasting. Maybe that's why it's called a fast, right? Uh, People are so mean, so many suicides. It's rather sickening when people treat each other so poorly. Well, go watch my video about yesterday, about what happened at the board game club. See, I don't feel suicidal in the sense that I want to take a gun to myself, but I feel good when I'm fasting and lightweight. And it's unfortunate that that has to end in death, right? It's really unfortunate. If I could fast forever and still live forever, I would much rather have that, right? Uh, yeah, the person impersonating me says, "I'm sorry, I must sound confused. It's the effects of all the mercury I ingested from all the fish." So, a little bit of background. When I was living in Rochester, New York, I had a girl who was taking advantage of me financially. Uh, and I spent all my money on her. I wasn't eating right. I was eating a lot of fish out of Lake Ontario. Uh, so this guy named I poop when I cough. I agree. Eating is annoying. Yeah, so we got to be careful around you because poop apparently also spreads COVID-19, right? So when you cough, you spread COVID-19 all over you, right? Uh, all right. Anyway, is there a way to block somebody from my chat? No, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it. I was also eating a lot of roadkill. All right, let me go to the bathroom. Just a second. Oh, it's going to get bad when he returns. All right. So to give you an idea of why I started intermittent fasting, um, back in 2019, I had a difficult situation with a student of mine. I was an adjunct professor at Washington Technology University, and one day I had a student who was going to come to my office hours at 6 o'clock, and I had gone to Whole Foods to get some food, and I was sitting in the break room eating, and he showed up at 5:40, and I started answering him because it seemed like he had a quick question, and I thought I could get him out the door in 2 minutes. But the 2 minutes went on to 5 to 10, and I really wanted to eat, and I became irritable, and I gave him a very lousy answer, and he threatened to drop the class, and um, somehow he stuck through it, and long story short, I got a bad evaluation at the end of the year, and I don't know if he wrote it, but I know that what I did was not appropriate. And so on New Year's Day 2020, I made a resolution to normalize my relationship with food. Just a second, I'm going to open the windows because I really love that sunshine. So I had made a resolution to normalize my relationship with food, and I started by going on a fast at the beginning of the year. And what was really funny was that first day of the fast, I kept accidentally wanting to reach for something, and so I didn't do very well on that first day. And I started over that night, and I by hiding all of my food, and so that I wouldn't accidentally break the fast. And then I felt really uncomfortable because my hands kept wanting to reach for something in midair. And I remember thinking, this is never going to last, right? It's a dream, but I'll probably have a difficult time with food once I go back to work after the new year. Now, the second day after I woke up, something unusual happened. A big peace just washed over me because I realized that I could enjoy all the other things, all the other spoils in life besides food, and I'll never have to deal with having a food craving during the middle of a meeting again. And I could finally go to work, go on a date, go to a movie, go on vacation without being bothered by food cravings, right? And I felt so good. Now, at the beginning of Lent 2020, my friend and I, we had made a pact. He wanted to quit smoking, and I wanted to continue to do intermittent fasting. And he I told him I was going to fast 40 days because I wanted to give him some encouragement. He told me he was only going to quit smoking for 40 days for Lent, and it made me worry because I worried how he would feel after Lent. He would go right back to smoking. And I asked him, well, besides Lent, is there any particular motivator for you to want to quit smoking? And he said he didn't want to go out when it was cold. You got to remember, Lent begins in February, and it ends in April. So it made me worry even more in April. It was going to not be so cold, and he lives in an apartment that doesn't allow you to smoke. And it made me worry for him. I said, well, why don't we talk about it at the end of Lent? We can compare notes. You know, I'm going to go on a 40-day fast, and you go and quit smoking for 40 days. We'll compare notes at the end of Lent. So a few days before Lent ended, we had talked on the phone, and I told him, I asked him how his smoking was. I told him about all the intermittent. I obviously didn't fast 40 days, but I did quite a few 24-hour fasts during the time. And I asked him if he was still off smoking, and he was. And I asked him how he felt about it now, and he said that he had saved some money, so he wants to continue. And I said, you have me all worried because you told me the reason you wanted to quit smoking was because you didn't want to go out when it was cold. And he says, yeah, but now he doesn't want to go out because of the Chinese flu. He's a little bit racist. And so that was good. At least he doesn't want to go out, right? And let's see. So it gave me a nice warm fuzzy feeling that everybody has some challenges to deal with. I wasn't alone in that he mentioned that he's never had workplace strife over smoking, but he's had times where he really wanted to go out for a smoke and it wasn't an appropriate time, right? He was flying and the flight had another 8 or 9 hours and he really wanted to smoke. And let's see, I do a fast when I fly. I hate using public. Yeah, of course, right? Who likes to use the bathroom on an airplane? But I felt so good after, I think at the beginning of Lent 2020, I went on a 50-hour fast. And I just felt so good. Like nothing could bother me. I can't think of another event that makes me feel like that, right? Like I mentioned in my last video, see, a lot of people want to be financially free, right? The problem is you'll never be completely free if you have to eat, right? If you don't free your body from having to eat, as financially free as you are, you're still vulnerable to famines. You're still vulnerable to situations where you cannot eat for whatever reason, right? And so I think financial freedom is very shallow when you think of it in that regard, right? Uh, Anybody have any suggestions on what to talk about next? I love that sunshine. I wish I could do my live stream outside somehow with my camera. Anyways, let's play some card games. I'm gonna randomly draw a Dragon Ball card, and we'll see what it says and see how it applies to me. If I can get that to read. Your leader card is black. Negate the attack, then choose up to one black battle card from your drop area. Wrap with an energy cost of 1 and add it to your hand. So Sabarone says it's windy and nasty here. Where do you live? I can't believe I'm finally gonna fast my way to heaven. I finally found a good resting place where I feel I belong, and I get to work in person. It's only a 15-minute drive away, and I just feel like this is the perfect place to go to heaven. Ephrata, Washington. I've never heard of that town. Gotta look it up. It is pretty windy here too, but at least it stopped raining. Earlier today, it was pouring. Where is that? Well, at least you guys are right next to an airport. Oh, I know that place. I love going to Vantage, Washington to stargaze, so I'm kind of familiar with that place. You have been right. Hey, Sabarone, this November 19, I might go to Vantage, Washington to view a lunar eclipse. Would you like to join me there? Are you familiar with Wild Horses Monument, right? There. Cool. We could go view the lunar eclipse over there. Yeah, I don't know how I'll be feeling though, because I'll be 90 some hours into my fast. But this is it. I can't believe I'm gonna say goodbye to everything. The lunar eclipses, the computer games I'm writing. I really can't believe. I feel so at peace now. Now that I'm gonna have this last 1 or 2 months of lightweight feeling from fasting, and then I'm gonna finally be free of everything else. Oh man. Frequency healing. I haven't heard of that one before. I drive by there looking for petrified wood. I haven't done that before. But I love collecting rocks from various different places that I visit. So December 8th of 2011, I started writing computer games. So we got the 10-year anniversary coming up, and I was hoping that the 10-year anniversary would be when I say my vows as a solosexual. Uh, but unfortunately, there's still a lot of lockdowns, and I want to have a big celebration with a lot of attendees, so that might be a little bit tricky. So, Savarone, would you like to come to my solosexual wedding? Oh my God, please stop impersonating me. All right. Your leader card is black. Negate the attack and choose up to. Oh, that's the same card I just drew. What's wrong with me? Add one card from your life to your hand. When this card attacks, it gets plus 10,000 power for the turn. Let's see what other card games we can. Well, I guess we could roll some dice, right? So here's a little bit of a thought experiment that I thought of the other day. So we got a 6-sided die, right? So you can imagine in Chinese, the number 4 sounds like the word for death. And so if we decided to play a game of Russian roulette where if you roll 4, you die instantly, but anything else, you win some amount of money, how big does that pile of money have to be for this to be a worthwhile game for you to play? Feel free to leave a comment and let me know how big that pile of money needs to be. Just as a hypothetical game, right? So if I just rolled a 4. And let's roll again. I rolled a 6. And I roll a 5. And I roll a 3. Yeah, how big does that pile of money have to be for you to justify a 1 in 6 chance of dying? Anybody want to leave a comment with the number? Is it 1 million, 2 million, 5 million? It would be millions. Want to be a little bit more specific? 2 million, 3 million? Million sounds about right? What if it was a 1 in 100 chance of dying? How much would it have to be? Anybody want to? 1 million for 1 in 6 or 1 in 100? So for $1 million, I would play the game. For the 1 in 6 game, I think I would. Actually, I don't think it has to be 1 million. If you think about it, because you're just going to die, right? It's not like you're going to be disabled or have other troubles, right? 1 in 6. Okay, yeah, for 1 in 6 for $1 million, I would play it. Now here's a variation on that game. Here's a little bit of a variation on that game. Now 6 is also a very unlucky number for me because it kind of means isolation, right? Social distancing from people, right? So imagine you roll the die, and if 6 comes up, you get exiled to an island where you never get to see another human being again. But anything else, you win some amount of money. How big does that pile have to be for that game to be worthwhile to play? Anybody want to leave a comment? So 1 in 6 chance, you get social distance from everybody on Earth for the rest of your life. Everything else, you win some amount of money. How big does that pile have to be? Okay, leave a comment. So I roll a 2. Death. A 5. A 1. A 2. Oh, I lose, right? So 1 in 6 chance you get exiled to another to an island away, or maybe a planet away. But the planet's got all the food and water that you want, right? Or you could just fast yourself to death, right? Whichever one you would prefer, right? But you no more human contact. That planet is light years away, right? So there's no way you can call anybody back home, because by the time they receive it, they'll be gone, right? How much would you have to roll a 6? You get exiled. Anything else, you win some big pile of money. You'll play that for free? Really? That's funny. I guess you're an introvert of some sort. So you would just keep playing for free until you roll a 6, right? Now, actually, that one I might need a big pile, much bigger than the game of 4 is death, right? To play, right? 6 is a much bigger nightmare to me than 4, right? That's why, because of 6, I almost wanted to 4, right? Now, let's imagine another game. Now, imagine this time, because 4 sounds like death, right? So let's imagine a game where you're not going to die, but if you roll a 4, everybody that you have seen in the last 24 hours, right? So this would probably include your immediate family, your close friends, dies if 4 is rolled. But and you also get to keep the money if 4 is rolled, right? Anything else, you just get a big pile of money, right? And nobody dies. Now, how big does that pile of money have to be for you to play that game? 1 in 6 chance, everybody you've seen in the last 24 hours dies. How big does that pile of money have to be for you to play that game? I can't believe somebody wants to play. Now, 6 is a much bigger phobia of mine than 4. I don't care about 4. As long as I feel good, I don't mind 4. So, Samarone, how much do you need to play that game? If you roll a 4, everybody you've seen in the last 24 hours dies. How much do you need to be paid to play that game? $1 million. I think I would need to be paid a whole lot more to be played that game than the other one, right? Let's see. Let's do the games. If 4 means I die, I don't think I would need a whole lot for that game to be worthwhile. I probably want 200,000, because with 200,000, I could have a lot more freedom in how I choose my life. It's not retirement money, but have lots of flexibility there. And if I die, I die, right? I kind of have a lot of difficulties of fitting in with the people that I live with anyway, right? Now, the other game, 6 meaning being exiled, that one depends where I'm being exiled to, right? I already feel very exiled where I live anyway, right? So that one I probably want $5 million. Why? Because if I'm exiled and I have a big pile of money to live my own life the way I want to live it, then it's not really exile anymore, right? I don't know. Now, if I roll a 4 and everybody that I've seen in the last 24 hours dies, I would probably want 10 million to do that, because it would probably mean that I'll never be able to make another friend again, right? So it'd be exile, but I have to live with people hating me, right? Okay, let's think about some other games that we could, some other Russian roulettes we could play. Now, here's a game that we might think about, right? So, here in the United States, there's a lot of discrimination against singles, right? So, imagine if two is rolled, it becomes perfectly legal to discriminate against singles, and everybody who's not in a pair gets mercilessly harassed, right? They get fired from their jobs, and it's not illegal to do that. But anything else, you get a big pile of money. How big does that pile have to be? Oh, Sabron's favorite number now. So how big does that pile of money have to be if rolling a 2 means that some kind of concentration camp for singles? And how big? Anybody? $1 million in gold. That one, you know what? I think that one I might not need that much to play for. You know why? Because I love speaking up against singles. I'd rather the discrimination against singles be more open, right? That's a trick question. If it were open, if you could be fired for being single, if you could be denied service at a restaurant for being single, I would actually prefer it that way because it would open the discussion. Right now, it's not even a discussion. That's the problem, right? That was kind of a trick question. Okay, here's another one that you might contemplate playing. So when I was a kid, 5 was my favorite number because I used to have trouble with sleeping. My mom would come wake me up in my bedroom and I would ask for 5 more minutes, right? In Chinese, the number 5 is pronounced "wu," and I would put my hand up and go "wu" to ask for 5 minutes, right? So to me, 5 kind of means to procrastinate. Now imagine a game where every time you roll a 5, you add some years of life expectancy to your life, right? Because you're procrastinating dying, right? Or you add 5 more days to your ability to fast, right? So imagine most people would die after 30 days of fasting, but you roll a 5 and it adds 5 days to it, right? How much money would you pay for each roll of that die? If rolling a 5 means you add 5 more years, and please, how do we get rid of this guy who's impersonating me? Can we hide user? Okay. Oh, the user's messages will be hidden. Okay. Cool. We deleted his messages. Yeah, so 5 kind of means to procrastinate to me. I got it. I think he's gone now. So a review of all the numbers. 1 to me means single lives matter. That's one of my favorite numbers, right? I don't like 2 because it's kind of anti single lives matters. I like 3, by the way, because one of the biggest challenges of being single is that there's a lot of events that are couples only, right? Or they feel like couples only, right? As a single guy, I would love to be able to go on like a double date with an established couple and me being a solo sexual, right? So 3 kind of also means single lives matters, right? 4 is an unlucky number in Chinese because it sounds like the word for death, right? 5 means to procrastinate, and 6 means loneliness, right? Because of social distancing, right? So how about you, Sabaru? Do any of those numbers mean anything to you? So I work at a tutoring center, and one of the kids I think he's a second grader. He has a hard time with his multiplication table. And I taught him the way to remember what 8 times 8 is because he always forgets that. He says 8. I told him that the reason 8 times 8 is 64 because he always remembers it as 62 or 66 or whatever. I told him to just think of it as 6 being social distancing and being lonely and then dying of loneliness, right? So 4, right? 8 times 8, social distance yourself and then die of loneliness, right? 64, right? I taught him to remember it that way, right? And now he doesn't forget it. 5, 2, 5, 6, death. 3, 1, death. Ooh! Oh, my unlucky number. Oh, fuck! That guy impersonating me is back. Let's see. All right. Hiding his messages again. So at the board game at the Computer Olympiad, we have Connect 4, but it's on a bigger board, and the first time I ever wrote it, the first tournament I ever did Connect 4 at, it was in Taiwan, and so obviously a lot of people speak Chinese there, and I called it Siqi for death game, right? Because of Connect 4 being death, right? What's so funny, Saparone? Let's see. Let's randomly draw some cards from the Connect 4 card game to see how we do. So everybody leave already, it looks like. Saparone, are you there? He came back and got deleted. So Saparone, what was so funny? I do a card with your idea that all right, I'm gonna have to block this guy again. Come on. Put out all the cards and pick a card until I got death. Right. Oh yeah, so let's keep going with the number luck theory that I have. So 6 means loneliness and isolation, right? Now 7's a lucky number for me because it basically means after social distancing, right? So kind of reopening, big social gathering. 7 is a lucky number for me. Now 8 is also lucky because 8 is 4 plus 4, right? So it's like life after death, right? 8 is a lucky number for me because it means life after death. Okay, somebody is impersonating me. Give me a second. I'm gonna report it and see what happens there. Uh, okay. So I reported it and now I need to remove it. Oh my god, he used a different account for everyone. Remove. Anyways, I'm gonna go out for a second in a moment anyway because I have work later and I want to enjoy some sunshine. I'll record a video while I'm out. So right now, how many? I'm almost 18 hours into intermittent fasting, and I feel so lightweight and nothing can bother me. And I'm gonna program another version of Pokemon for the AI later today. Um, Anyway, happy go lucky, lightweight, nothing bothering me. And if I have to go to heaven just to enjoy the last couple of months of that, why not? Uh, all right, I'll record a video while I'm out. Thanks for the inspiration. And, anyways, 18 hours into this mission, I guess.